on in a flash.
They played the mash.
They played the monster mash.
I'm Luke Summerhays.
I am James J. Miles.
Andrew Rice, and my laptop is running out of power.
And I'm James the Jaster Stewart, and I'm prepared, unlike Andy.
And you're listening to Monster Mash. Do you want to go fix that, Andy?
I've just been plugging it in as we've been doing the intro, so
Cool.
we're good.
I know that Andy's ready to go. We're also ready to hunt the Agnaktor this week.
Ooh!
Also known as firepike wyverns, Agnaktor use their tough beaks and great strength to burrow effortlessly through rock, and can even burrow into ceilings. Their hardened lava armour becomes even harder when cooled, forming an almost impenetrable armour.
Also known as fire.
Firepike.
Who the fuck calls them that?
I've never heard it called that. Yeah, I've never heard it called that. Not even in a quest description or anything.
I mean, I guess the long thinness is kind of pikey.
It makes
Are they
sense,
talking-
yeah, but it's not a term you see that often or you see people use, is it?
I mean, they could be talking pike the spear or pike the fish.
I kind
It's a
of.
spear, it's got like a spearhead.
Yeah,
and
I was
it
thinking
drives through
spear.
the rock, so.
But then again, they do have fins, don't they?
As do all fish.
Yes.
Wise words
Which is-
indeed, Andy.
Which is the point I was.
That's him done. That's him done contributing to the cast.
Which is the point I was making.
That's it. I mean, I don't know why I thought you meant specifically about the pike. Like, you know.
No.
No, you meant the Agnaktor.
Fuck's sake.
Look, you told me off for not contributing enough. This is what you get.
So, if last week we had basically a fire Plesioth, this guy
This is just
is a
basically
bit more
fire.
interesting, but he's a fire Lagiacrus.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He's complete shit because he's a Phylogeochris.
I'd never thought of that before.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I've always connected the two. They're the same monster type as well, so.
Well, it's like what Jay was talking about last time, how some monsters are, they take the basic mould and then do something interesting with it. And then the Lavasioth was literally just a recolor.
Yeah, I like the Agnaktor. Like, I kind of get what you're saying now that I think about it. That he is a bit like the Laggy, but
It's just that he is another Leviathan.
He's got his own unique thing, like
Yeah.
he does the big fire laser beams and stuff like that. And
I think
he
he's
uses
got a
that in
lot
many
of
different
unique
ways.
things. Like, yeah, he's got his fire laser beam. He can tunnel into the ceiling and dig through the ground and all that kind of crap. Like, I think he's far more interesting than just a reskinned Lodge. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, we're just taking the piss, man. He's definitely interesting.
he's my friend, all right. Stop picking on him.
plus he does have a little bit of unique feature in that he's got a adolescent form as well. And
Yeah, it keeps surprising me when we're dealing with... Because obviously, like, a lot of the early game monsters have that. But it always surprises me when we're dealing with, like, a proper monster, if you will. And then they have an adolescent form.
Mhm.
So I forget that so many of them do.
Yep.
Especially, like, I can't imagine seeing a baby Lagiacrus knocking about. But
He's
there's
a-
your Octors
yeah.
all over the place.
he's a flagship as well, which makes that a bit trickier.
I thought for a second you were going to refer to the fact that he kind of armours himself up as well during fights.
Yeah, that is another unique cool thing he's got. And
Just kind of surrounds himself in molten rock and like hardens his body so your weapons tend to bounce at certain sharpness levels.
it also changes which statuses he's weak to.
Does it?
He's really resistant to dragon when he's got the armor on, but he's weak to it when he's got it off.
Ah, that's
I always win water against the Agnaktor.
Oh yeah, I did as well.
probably save some of
That's just
the hassle.
factoid.
From, if you went with a dragon weapon, you can only really do the most damage.
Yeah.
Like, not that much in the fight.
You get that anyway. Most monsters have like two weaknesses anyway, so like you've always got that dynamic of people maybe want to pick like different weapons with a different status.
Or if you just happen to have one really good weapon of one stat, then you can
Yeah.
That's it.
mix and match. But it's just one of those nice little touches of, like, the design of the creature is actually reflected in the gameplay.
Just going back to his moveset there, the wiki, which I'm about to throw shade on in a minute, does read a very good... Again, from compared to last week. Sorry, wiki writers. But it does raise a good point here that he's got a really similar laser beam to the Gravios. So That must be a thing. Like the lava monsters are able to take the energy from the lava magma and power it into a big fucking.
Yeah, both
laser
of them
beam.
Well-
they definitely use it in different ways though.
I was going to say, a lot of the water monsters, they shoot out like the stream of water. That's their laser beam.
A bubble beam.
So it might be that the lava monsters, it's not a laser, it is actually the lava
Like a,
that they're squirting out.
yeah, squirting out. It's not
You
really.
should just roll that
I was
fucking hell.
gonna say it's more like a jet beam.
Sorry.
Monster just squirts out the lava and I'm like, what the hell was that? What's that meant to be? Is that meant to hurt me?
See, you say squirting out, and I'm just imagining like a little bit of lava like dribbling out their mouth, like you with that ice cream. on
No.
Twitter.
when you say squirt, you imagine some force behind it. That's a difference between a squirt and a
right
dribble.
to me now, okay.
Fucking hell.
Right.
Yeah, like a squirt gun.
Good, thank you, Jazz. Thank you. Thank you.
Keep it PG, man. Keep it PG.
But back to the Agnaktor. Should we touch a little bit on the Euroctors then? No, I kind of brought them up earlier.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like any of the smaller monsters, they don't do anything that interesting. But yeah, they are baby Agnactors.
I'd say they're a bit more interesting than the other monsters there because you kind of get an impression of their moveset. It kind of evolving into the Agnaktor's moveset. Like your other baby adolescent versions of the big monsters really just kind of swipe at you. Whereas the Euroctors do have, like, they can drill underground, they can gob a little pellet of fire and then a full laser beam at you as well. So they do have that kind of early onset Agnaktor moveset coming out there. All the reason why they do, feel like a proper adolescent version of the Agnaktor. Plus, they make a funny sound with their beaks, which I like.
I do really enjoy the Agnactor's beak.
Yes.
It's a nice design, I think.
Yes, makes it quite unique as well.
Yeah, he does like a weird kind of clacking noise, doesn't he? Like usually before he fires his
That's it.
or squirts his laser.
And the Euroctors do that as well. The little like clacking noise with the beaks, which is nice. So just to throw shades on the wiki, because I kind of want to hear what you guys think the wiki means by this here. They're talking about where it's found, and just reading this verbatim, Agnaktor is found exclusively in the volcanoes of the New World and the volcanic hollow of the Old World. Is there something about like Monster Hunter's overall world design that we haven't picked up on here?
I think they describe the Monster Hunter 3 and 4 areas as the New World. Because the whole point with 3 was that it had none of the old monsters in it, so it was like a quite separate land.
But that's the volcanic hollow, and that's the old.
And then, they've definitely caught that up then.
Wait, no, is it? Is it? What's the maps?
Volcanic Hollow was from 4.
Oh, so maybe 4's back in the old world then.
So is it something about
No,
the
because
old...
he's in the volcano, and so the volcano is an old map, right? And he can also be found in Volcanic Hollow, which is a new map.
I was going to say volcanoes in.
Because 4 isn't set in one location, is it? That 4 has the
Agnaktor's not even
traveling.
in 4, is he?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Ah, right. Okay. So volcano was interested in Monster Hunter 3, which is the New World, kind of. So I suppose that does kind of fall in line with
I think
what
there's just a
Luke
bit
was
of
referring to
confusion
there.
because they put them into generations and they've got a whole bunch of different maps from different generations of each game. So you do get them in the Volcanic Hollow in generations, but that's technically the New World, is what they're saying.
No, so they're the hollow's the old world, the volcano
Hollow's
is the
the
new
old
world.
world.
So I think Luke is right.
Generations crosses both worlds.
So basically, they've
Yeah.
made a mistake there, and like you should ever be fighting Agnaktor in the Volcanic Hollow.
No, what they're
No,
saying
you
here
should.
is
They're saying it's found in both, right?
it's found in both. Yeah. So Luke was right essentially. Now that I'm now looking into this, volcano is a map from Monster Hunter 3, and obviously that being all the like new monsters and everything, that's classed as the new world. Seemingly here, that's how
Right.
the wiki's taking it. And the hollow is the old world, which I kind of like because that means obviously new world, new monsters.
Well, yeah,
always kind of
the
old favourites.
the manga I'm reading they do travel to the new world and start
Does
meeting
that?
Monster Hunter
All
3
right, okay,
monsters.
cool.
So I think it is a term they actually use officially.
Cool. Sorry, Monster Hunter Wiki. I'll retract my shade.
The shade goes on you instead.
Yes, it does.
Monster Hunter Wiki, you are forgiven for spending hours and hours to give us lots of free data that we use to do this podcast and play this video game.
We love you. We do love you. Just talk a little bit about its name, Lucky Boy.
Yeah, it's actually one of the quite cool names. The Agnaktor's name comes from the Hindu fire god Agni and the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl. The Aznak and then Ktor. So it's the fire god, obviously. Pretty obvious, he's fiery.
Yep.
And Quetzalcoatl is an Aztec god, and it's generally represented by a snake or a bird. And he's a bit like a snake and a bit like a bird. Yeah, I always quite like it when they use like gods' names in there, because that just implies that it's a properly badass monster.
But it's to be fair, like the first time we fought this guy, I remember having real trouble with him, just because like obviously being an earlier armor, we kind of did kick his face in this time round. But
yeah, like I think when we first fought him, like you really didn't like him at the time.
I think it was just I was in
Just the frustration from the fight, yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of got me salty, and I do love generating some salt playing games. And
But yeah, he can come at you from a lot of different angles with quite a variety of attacks.
that's it.
And generally, fiery, lavery stuff does a lot of damage to early game armor.
A lot of it does have kind of like fire weaknesses and things like that. I think the biggest thing actually was that it was my first monster where I really had to get around fire blight, because pretty much everything he does causes it. And before that, before we fought him, really it was just things like, you know, a big fire blast from like your.
Is it harder to put a fire out in aerial style as well?
Yes, actually.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and I was an aerial style, whereas I've now switched to strike.
Any kind of status, kind of ailment, is the one that you can roll off. Like, it's really difficult to get rid of it when you're using aerial style.
Because your
So
rolls
yeah,
are
it does make sense.
Yeah, so that'll be why actually, yeah, that makes sense now for me too, because I was big into my aerial in a kind of early to mid game of Generations.
For me, the Agda's always been a bit of a treat monster, because I think when we first started fighting him in Tri, I think it was an advanced quest, so it was always an absolute pain in the arse to actually get him. So we found him like a couple of times and we died against him. And
yeah, because it'd be
couldn't
quests.
try it again.
It'd be those advanced quests that they'd only show up like at certain intervals. Like you wouldn't always be on the quest board.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So I've always had a bit of a soft spot for him, because he was that special treat when he occasionally turned up.
Kind of like the Agnaktor and Loss in Generations.
Pretty sure like I made the Agnaktor armor and Tri. It's a good armor set, that.
Yeah, his armor is pretty cool looking, nice and weird. It's like bright red, and it's got the like his fin on your head.
Yeah.
It makes you look like some forgotten 1970s comic book villain.
Kind of like Zoidberg when he's in breeding mode in Futurama.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, his tail looks like a prawn's tail, which I ate prawns for the first time recently. And like the main bit was quite nice. It's like eating like a chicken nugget, and then I made the mistake of eating the tail.
Oh.
And it just took me back to that time I ate bugs.
You ate what?
Bugs.
Oh, I thought you said ducks.
I thought you said dogs.
Just like a whole duck.
Like, whoa,
that
whoa,
beak.
whoa, whoa.
The duck's beak was so crunchy, man. Don't do it.
And I just had a momentary image of you like running to like a pond in a park and all the children running away like, it's the duck muncher! The duck muncher!
I was going to bring up the fact that he looks a bit like Titanosaurus from Godzilla, but I think I'm going to have to end it on Duck Muncher.
Well, but we haven't even talked about the subspecies.
I was going to say,
That's
yeah,
an
there's
important one.
subspecies, which I don't know nothing
Oh,
about.
bloody hell. There is indeed. I have got it written down, but I've forgotten all about it.
That's because I had the armor for the subspecies, and that looks like proper like silvery knight wear, like not knight wear, like armor of a knight. So I was really
Can I
like
get-
yes.
Yeah, he's got more of a blue tint to him, hasn't he? Like the subspecies.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that right?
Well, it is pretty much the element swap, classic example of a subspecies. Firing ice beams instead and being covered in ice instead of lava. So he's not
I
the
missed
most
that old ice map.
fascinating change, but no, it is nice to fight him in the ice caverns.
Yes,
Through the ceiling and stuff.
that's what I remember reading. The Agnaktor loses its armor when it goes underground, and the subspecies gets its armor when it goes under the ice.
Yeah.
So that's like for what an actual interesting swap for a subspecies. So I've got a lot of time for. A lot of time.
And it's way fucking harder as well, from what I remember. He's just an absolute damage dealing bastard.
What a subspecies are, and they are a bit trickier than the main ones.
I was watching a video of the hunt, and he looks really quick. Like you've got to be on your toes fighting him.
You could be watching like a G-rank version of the quest as well.
True that.
If it's from 3U or something.
I think he's only been in 3 years.
No, portable third it says here in the wiki.
Oh, okay.
And
That doesn't count.
so next week, the Monster Mash boys are going to show you what it means to go even further beyond. Except we're not going to spend 10 minutes screaming. So join us on the next thrilling episode of Monster Mash Z as we hunt the Rajang. But until then, look, where can they find us?
Well, we're on Twitter at Monster Mash Pod. We're on Facebook, YouTube, iTunes. Just search for Monster Mash Podcast. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Give us a rating and a review. All of that jazz. Presumably helps. I mean, I don't care. We're going to keep doing this anyway. Because we like talking about monsters.
But hey, if you guys listen and get involved, it makes it even more fun for us. So that'd be neat. Until then, you can also tweet at Andyman949 a picture of you swallowing a live duckling.
Well, that's one of the less plausible ones, I guess.
Okay. They're quite bite-sized. I think you could probably do it.
Yeah, physically, not the issue, but yeah, okay.
There's no issues there. Until then, of course, thank you for listening.
See ya!
Goodbye.
Oh, fucking Remobra poisoning me! Fucking cunt!
I thought it was meant to be a moon there, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's right, like, it's weird, like, you mount like Agnaktor like really weirdly because of these spines on his back. Like you're on the side of them.
Oh, actually, there's a Godzilla monster that Agnaktor reminds me of.
Fucking hell. Yesterday as well, what the
Of course
fuck was that? What is that group about Godzilla's about?
Oh, I fucking love GVA, mate. Rustling Jimmies. I can't remember what meme I tagged you in.
You tagged
When
me in, like...
I wake up at night and
about
think
to
about
go to sleep
Godzilla.
and you're thinking about Godzilla.
Yeah, you
when
tagged me in
wake
that
up.
as well. And you just went, you didn't even go, this reminds me of me. You just went, that me.
Well, I did deliberately what I did by accident last time, so I realised that you two automatically come up, so I just tagged you.
I don't get why we automatically come up.
It's because whenever I laugh at something while we're recording, I tag you in it.
Alright, okay, fair. But you
So,
post
like-
it in Skype more often than not.
No, yeah, but I have tagged you guys and stuff enough that you are now
Yeah.
among the top couple of people I tag.
High praise. Hey,
Nice.
I'm interested to see who like my recommendations would be, because I don't fucking tag anyone.
He's a bit of a prawn, isn't he?
fucking prawn.
Cheeky fucking prawns, man.
Nothing wrong with us, so Christ, we fucking smashed that.
Yep.
We're just over 5 minutes.
Fucking love those.
Because we are absolute gangsters.
Are we getting good?
Don't be silly, Jay.
I think our weapons may be a little bit overpowerful.
Yeah, you got to remember for the first however many podcasts we were doing the like no armor starting weapons things, weren't we?
Yeah.
And since we've given up on that, we're now using all our equipment on monsters that we can smash.
It's just nice getting them out of the way.
I think we should do Rajang in our pants.
Fuck off! I'm not even trying it.
Just be curious as well.
In Dragon
You
Ball,
aren't gonna survive anyway, mate.
in Dragon Ball canon, they do take off their clothes to get stronger.
Take off your clothes. Take off your clothes. That's what she said.
And that'll do. Got a point.